curious about quantum healing hypnosis technique? Perhaps you want to explore your past lives or uncover the reasons why you are the way you are. Then, QHHT may be a great tool to help. In this video, we had the pleasure of interviewing QHHT practitioner Johnston, who's been supporting folks in accessing their higher selves and subconscious mind for the past 3 years with this powerful healing modality. As part of our Healing Modalities Debunked series, these videos are meant to shed light on the various healing modalities that people are curious about, yet uncertain about trying. Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique was developed by the late Dolores Cannon, a renowned hypnotherapist, author, and lecturer. Dolores Cannon began her career as a traditional hypnotherapist in the 1960s, and later discovered that she could induce clients into a deep state of hypnosis where they could access past lives and their higher consciousness. Cannon dedicated her life to refining her technique and developed QHHT, blending hypnosis, regression therapy, and metaphysical exploration. She documented her experiences and findings in numerous books, becoming a respected figure in the field of holistic healing. Today, QHHT continues to be practiced and taught by certified practitioners worldwide, carrying forward Dolores Cannon's pioneering work. If you're new to the channel here at Deep Mind Squared, I want to welcome you. My name's Fola, and here we talk about all things magical practices and altered states. And I hope you enjoy this interview and a bit about the session and what involves QHHT. Well, today I have the pleasure of speaking with Johnston, who is a quantum hypnosis healing technique practitioner. I'm going to get it correct.
Just about.
Yeah, QHHT. So lovely to have you here, Asia.
Thank you, Paula, and hello, everybody.
Sweet. Yeah, but I think we've known each other for like a few years, right?
Yeah, about 2 years now.
Yeah. Was it like right at the start of COVID or something? Maybe around that time was when you were starting your QHHT journey.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, it was kind of funny how that all happened at that time.
Yeah, being spiritually curious. So I appreciate you reaching out to me back then, and here we are now. So super excited to share a bit about like what it is that you do and what QHHT means to you. So maybe you could start us off with a little bit of some background of like what led you to this modality in particular.
Yeah, well, I had just finished reading a Dolores Cannon book. Dolores Cannon, she's the lady who created QHHT, and I initially wanted to see if I could get a session. Since her books are just so mind-blowing, you kind of want to know if it's possible for you to go under this hypnosis and have all this information come through. So I looked up Dolores Cannon online, and I found that her technique was called QHHT, and that it was actually being practiced by thousands of people around the world. So that kind of shifted my perception about it, rather than trying to get a session to actually hosting sessions. At that time, I wasn't really doing anything and was waiting for something to come along my path to guide me or show me what is possible, what my potential basically. And QHHT just came right at the perfect time, and there was so much fear I had with doing it because I really had no background with anything. I was like fresh slate, and I just took a leap of faith, and that just took me away. So I've been doing it now for 2 years or 2.5 years, and it's been outstanding. Like, it's been really great to have this to shape who I am. Like I said, I was sort of a fresh slate, and QHHT has really helped to shape me in a positive way rather than whatever else could have happened. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. No, that's awesome to hear that it like gave you, I guess, what you were looking for, even though maybe you didn't really know what you were looking for at the time.
Yeah.
But that's how the universe works, I suppose. Hey. So you kind of said that maybe you had some fears or that there was something you weren't really sure about. Do you mind just touching on those? Because I know like with hypnosis, there is oftentimes this uncertainty, like, oh my God, I know my parents would be like, someone's going to imprint like really dark things in you if you're not careful. But what were some of those fears that you had?
Yeah, well, my fears weren't so much with the hypnosis, just because reading Dolores Cannon's books made me feel kind of confident about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seemed kind of natural after reading her books and hearing that so many people had done this so easily. My fear was more just hosting the sessions and being the one guiding these hypnosis sessions. It was sort of intimidating at the time, and that's kind of where my hesitation with it came in, but I knew that that was a fear that could easily go away with just practicing it and doing it, and I went into it. But yeah, I do understand the fear with hypnosis. Like, it's been heavily talked about as something that's, you can be programmed and influenced in ways you don't want to be. And the thing with hypnosis is it's always your choice to surrender to that. So while someone can be programming you or telling you things to think and act like, it's always your willingness that allows that to happen. So, and that's actually a key thing with these QHHT sessions, is the willingness to be open and allow whatever it is to come up. So I do a lot of work to tell my clients that there is nothing to fear, that your higher self is the one that's with you and guiding you in these sessions, and you can just surrender and allow whatever it is to come up for you.
Yeah, okay. So really just trusting the process, which I guess leads to the next question is, what exactly is the process, or what is someone can expect doing a session of QHHT?
So it's usually about a 4 to 6 hour session, and it's because we do a really in-depth look at your life. We're looking to get answers to as many questions we can that you bring to the session. Things from, what is my purpose? How can I heal this physical symptom? What are my past lives? That's the most common thing, considering QHHT is considered a past life regression technique. But actually getting to a session, the first little bit will be like an interview sort of stage where we do talk about your life. I get some background about you, and we talk about what you're looking to get out of the session. And then after that, we'll do the hypnosis. So that usually lasts about 2 hours at a max. Sometimes it's less. But in the hypnosis is where we look to explore past lives. Sometimes other scenes come up, like your past in your current life, or even future lives have come up for some. It's really what you need to see at that time in your life. That's what comes up. But most commonly, it's a past life. And then as we move through that, or sometimes multiple lives, then we'll connect you to your higher self. So that's kind of like a direct channeling experience. It's really just getting your conscious mind chatter out of the way. That's what the whole hypnosis is getting that chatter away so we can access this information. But really with the higher self part is where we're channeling essentially your innermost being, your soul, your the oversoul. Like, there's so many different terms and names for it, but it's just that most authentic part of you, and that's where we ask your questions. So depending on how much you can relax and let go is how much you can get out of that part, and really all of the hypnosis.
Yeah, okay. So really it's available and something that can be accessed by anyone. It doesn't matter your belief systems or what your life experience is, just as long as you can like be willing to show up, go into that sort of like subconscious process, the deepening of that process, and then whatever the questions are that are being posed by the interviewer, such as yourself or that practitioner, then you're recording the answers to that at the same time, or what does that kind of look like?
Yeah, we'll do an audio recording.
Okay.
And that recording is given to you after the session is done. And you are to listen to it, to really download that information and integrate it. But it's really helpful to get that, like really from your higher self, which knows you better than anyone else ever could. Having that advice is the most helpful. It's profound what can come through from that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I feel like we were describing that kind of like higher self part that is showing up. It is totally just unfiltered information that can come from like the true essence. And we're oftentimes just so disconnected from that because of all the noise of life and things that are happening around us. So what a neat way to be able to just trust that and go into it and receive the answers based on what specifically we want to know. So I'm excited to explore some of this. And I'm like, ooh, what other questions do I want? Yeah. So you mentioned Dolores Cannon's book. Like, I think she wrote that Convoluted, is that what it's called? Convoluted Universe, right? Okay. Reincarnation is like a huge part of that, I guess, her belief or the process of this. I didn't realize it's actually a past life regression, like therapy. How did your view change about past lives from coming into like QHHT, if at all?
Well, I really didn't have any sort of idea about it. Like I said, I was really open to anything at that point. Like, I had grown up through a Catholic church and belief system, and none of it really resonated with me. So after I recognized that, I was really just open to whatever, and just reading her books, I think that kind of introduced the idea of reincarnation as a legitimate thing in reality. And even further than that, after doing these sessions and reading more and hearing other things, my understanding of it is more like it's not even there's past lives, but more parallel lives, and everything is occurring at the same time. So even though it might seem like a past in our history, how we label time, it's really happening at the same time.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for saying that, because it's totally how I perceive it. Anytime I have had an experience where maybe I'm seeing it, it's like, oh no, like that's happening right now. Like, and I've just associated certain energies, maybe of certain people that are like from then and in my life now, and that, you know, they kind of correlate with each other. So it's interesting to see how it's kind of, it has in a way evolved your viewpoint of it. And yeah, that's important, because I think it's important too that we don't get caught up in, oh, this is my past life experience or karmic situations. It can, I think, sometimes limit people from really, truly exploring this lifetime. So are there any like risk factors? And if so, what would those be around someone accessing this information, you know, that you've seen or that you had a touch about?
The only thing that someone might consider a risk or a danger is sometimes past lives or the other lives we view are somewhat traumatic, where there's just like violent scenes or things like that. But even with those cases, you're always guided. Like, you're never seeing something that you cannot handle. And it's just another reason to just surrender and trust, because you're always going to see what you need to see. You're not going to see something that's going to freak you out and turn you away. And even if you do freak out and turn away, that is still a part of your journey and learning. So to me, there's not really any true danger or something to fear. It's just the more you trust, the more safe you'll feel, the more safe it is. It's kind of how I see.
Yeah. Okay. And so, if someone wanted to, give this experience a try for themselves, where would they be able to reach out to you or seek someone? And can you do this online even, or do you have to do it in person with someone?
Their QHHT is in person only.
Okay.
There is another technique called BQH, Beyond Quantum Healing. BQH is basically a online session that you can offer to people, but it's separate training. It's created by a lady who kind of adapted Dolores Cannon's technique, but QHHT itself is in person only. And if you wanted to find a QHHT practitioner, you just go to their official website. It's QHHTofficial.com. There's a directory. You can look up your area, anywhere in the world basically, and it tells you what practitioners are near you and their level, and you can just reach out to them through that.
Okay. Oh, I see. So from what you said, there's a lot of folks practicing this,
there's
sharing
thousands around the world.
Yeah, wow, that's super cool. Oh, the quantum healing, I guess it's happening, right? And I'm so excited to go into the session with you, and I thank you for being here and sharing a bit. Is there anything else you think the audience needs to know or you'd like to share? Your wise words?
Just if you're feeling called to it, then try it out. There's really nothing you can lose. There's only things to gain. And if you are going to go into a session, to just trust and be present for the session. Try to go in without any expectation. Just open, excited, and happy. And you'll get the most out of it. So.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to this. I have done it with you before, and thinking back to what I was going through then and now, and I, without going into details on the camera, but it was very transformative. And I would say that's kind of what hooked me into more of the sense of empowerment that I had in myself as a woman, to be able to really let go of unhealthy relationships. So thank you for that, and I'm excited to see what happens today. So
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Asia, and
we
will chat with you soon.
Yes. Yeah, it's Morocco.
Okay. What does it look like?
Seems like markets, but it's quiet. It's not busy.
Are you in the market?
Kind of. I feel almost an apparition. Not really there.
Okay. And tell me a little more about the market. What sort of things do you see?
There were vendors, but there are no vendors. It's empty. But there's horses, maybe a couple horses, just kind of tied off to some area waiting.
Are there any products in the vendors, or is it just bare?
Yeah. I feel this is what this place was.
So it's been over a week, maybe about 10, 11 days now since the quantum hypnosis session. And I would definitely say there is a lot of stuff happening in my life right now. I found the most potent part to be around the theme of power, which was coming up very strongly during the session. it seemed very fitting because a lot of the other things that were coming up in my life at the time had to do around my experiences of power, myself being in power, or others being in power sort of over me, and what that looks like, how I'm able to communicate it, and allowing myself to be less judgmental, having a bit more compassion for myself and for others as we move through that like sense of the power imbalance. I feel like having that session, being able to talk with Asia really did help highlight some of the kind of beliefs I had about certain areas or experiences around power in my life. And she really helped shift and give me this new perspective on it. So I'm very grateful for that. Right now, it's been like this upheaval of emotions, honestly, and I know I'm not the only one going through it, so it's kind of like a collective thing. There's a bunch of stuff coming up in the next week that I feel is also very much like going to be, I guess, monumental in my life, and there's just stuff happening. So I look forward to re-listening more and more to the audio recording that she sent me, which is quite long, but being able to hear myself in that state and kind of have a refresher of the things that were talked about is definitely an interesting part of the whole practice.
And in regard to that destiny, is there anything you can tell us that can propel her through that at this time?
Just let her light shine like the stars.
Is there something or anything that is preventing her from shining in that way?
She's just been growing. So no, it's just the path. Be patient. The sun doesn't have to do anything to shine. It just shines.
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
I would say too, there's something really deep and profound about how like the subconscious mind brings in themes or ideas and all that, because the fact that like a djinn showed up does seem kind of fitting about my like views and beliefs about magic and what I'm willing to do or not do to experience the life that I want. And it's really left me with the questions on how do I want to continue in my life path, or am I ready, I guess, and willing to really expand out? So I feel like I could talk forever about this, but definitely would suggest QHHT if you are curious on exploring past life. If you are maybe just curious to know about hypnosis and what something like this can bring into your life, it is safe, you are in control. There was no time at all that I felt like unsafe or uncertain. In fact, when I was in the session, there were many times that my body and like the energetics were going through a major healing and cleansing, which is something that we talked about after, because I was like, I felt like I wanted to speak, but yet I didn't want to speak because there was this whole process happening internally that there would be no way I could find words to describe. So it is truly healing inside and out. And I look forward to seeing what happens over the next month in terms of other insights and the healing that is occurring in my own personal life. So I hope you enjoyed the video and that this has sparked some interest for you. Feel free to let us know in the comments, what are your thoughts about QHHT, hypnosis, past lives? Let's have a conversation, and feel free to check out the QHHT practitioners in your local area. I will put a link in the description on a place where you can find that. And until next time, folks, I will see you in another video.